Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video. Of course, continuing on reviewing, Halloweenish films, of course. Yes, and that's right. You read the title of what I'm reviewing, and as I teased in the last review, where, of course, yeah, I pretty much gave it away, because anybody would know, one famous quote from the film. 7 days. The Ring. Yes! And, this year's celebrating its anniversary. Yeah, there's interesting thing about The Ring and with my family. I was like, okay, I was 1 year old when this came out. Well, of course, very later on when this came out on VHS and DVD, and my parents, they got, I think, yeah, they had the DVD, so, yeah, they got the DVD, and, I think my mom, she was terrified, she but, because I was, still, because I was a baby and such, they had me with them, watching the movie, I was asleep, even my dad was asleep too. He slept through most of it. Yeah, it can be a pretty terrifying film, but, as for me and, for everybody who has seen it many times, you wouldn't get scared of it. But okay, the story. So let's get to the story. A journalist must investigate a mysterious videotape which seems to cause the death of anyone 1 week to the day after they view it. So, yeah, and directed by Gore Verbinski, who, a year after this, would go on to direct the 3 Pirates of the Caribbean films. And before Pirates, and even before The Ring, another good film that he directed, which was, aside, because with this being very scary and such, he directed a family-friendly film in the late 90s, Mouse Hunt. Yep, that film. So it's funny, one of the movies, he did, a family, funny, family-friendly film that's about a mouse and such, to doing this, and then, of course, doing something else, for the entire family, a Disney film, which being Pirates. You get my point and what I'm trying to explain. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot. This is based off of a novel by Koichi Suzuki. If I'm saying the full name right, I probably not. But it's got a good cast, and because Naomi Watts is the journalist. She's Rachel, and her son, Aiden, I think I got that right, yeah, played by a young David Dorfman. Well, the thing is, the opening to it, we start off with these, 2 teenage girls just messing around, watching TV. Katie, played by Amber Tamblyn, yeah, got that right. And there's her friend Becca. There's her friend Becca, played by Rachel Bella. And the mentioning of a videotape that if you watch it, the phone will ring, you'll hear a voice, and, 7 days. And then, when 7 days come up, that's when, yep, you're dead. So, well, even Katie had watched that tape. Her and, a bunch of other friends and, her secret boyfriend, I guess. And, well, eventually, that night, Katie does get killed by the tape, and with the ring girl, so... And even, the connection with Katie and Rachel and Aiden, Aiden and Katie, they were cousins. So there was, they had a good, cousin relationship, you know what I'm saying? Had good times. And even Aiden, something about Aiden, because he would sometimes draw these pictures. And in fact, he predicted Katie's death because he had drawn some pictures a week before she died. So, then there's also, Noah, played by Martin Henderson, who has a bit of a connection with Rachel. It seems yeah, they were in a relationship at one point. And, even, Rachel, a little bit later, as she's investigating this whole thing, and, at one point, when she goes to the cabin, where like Katie and the rest of the teenagers like they stayed at cabin 12, and she finds the tape, puts it in, and watches the whole thing. Then she receives a phone call. 7 days. And thus, yeah, she is cursed by it as well. And even even meeting with Becca at a mental hospital. The question is, like, even my question is this: what happened to Becca after Katie died? I can't remember. Like, as I record this, I gave it a watch, just in case, of course. And I don't think they really established it. Like, at least this is me talking. Like, this is my opinion. Like, they never established, like, what exactly happened to Katie, how she wound up in the mental hospital. Like, two things. One, was it because, like, Becca must have had some involvement with Katie's death? Or two, she just went mentally insane, and after what happened with the tape. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. If any of you guys know, leave comments. But, yeah. So, yeah, a small visit that Rachel gives to Becca, like, like Rachel getting Becca to talk about, the tape and so on, and, like, well, Becca senses that too, and, like, tells her she has 5 days left, or I think, yeah, 5 days, because, day 1 and 2 are up, so that's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, yeah. So, yep, and even say Noah watches the tape too, and, well, it wouldn't be until a little bit later he starts to realize that, yeah, it's all real, and he believes in Rachel, and not to mention, like, sometimes with photos of, like, say, Katie and her friends, and I guess, yeah, with Rachel and Noah, their faces are kind of a bit disoriented, you know what I mean? Like that, like, kind of mushy or whatever. That's the tape's doing, like, after they watched it. And even, like, saying Aiden, like, at one point watched the tape, and he couldn't sleep, as he said, and just moments when Rachel, like, good like, acting moments with Naomi Watts, where she's just freaking out and screaming, like, leave us alone! That. And, of course, the ring girl, Samara, like, it's hard to believe. Like, people have been joking about this ever since this, and then in a certain animated film, they came out the same year, because it's hard to believe it's the same actress, Davey Chase, I think I got her first name right, who is the voice of Lilo in Lilo and Stitch. People have been joking about that, and just, I can understand it's hard to believe that she was in those two movies, and they came out the same year. It's hard to believe. And, well, Lilo has black hair, and I've seen a little bit of fan art, and it's been parodied, and so on. It's like, that joke will never die, and sadly it's true. I mean, it's true, it is true. Yeah, and also, yeah, because we, like, Rachel, like, finding out more about, like, say, Samara, well, and that is the ring girl, a.k.a., and also, legendary actor Brian Cox he's Richard Morgan, and that's when because one thing about Samara is, like, some connection with a farm, and even the horses, even when, like, on a boat that Rachel gets on, like, getting to another island and such, there's at one point when she, like, tries to, like, interact with a black horse that's in a horse cage, those, and the horse just loses it and breaks out, and the horse just running, and then, of course, jumps out of the boat, basically, and that's when kind of gets caught in the back of the boat's engines, you know what I'm talking about, and blood, yeah, very gruesome, even if it's just blood, like, yeah, and Rachel meeting Morgan, I'm sorry, the last name, but I meant the first name, Richard. So, Rachel meeting Richard, and it turns out that we find out Richard was the ring girl's father, and, there's even another tape that, well, a little bit earlier, speaking of tape, I forgot to mention this, even Rachel made a copy of the tape, and even, like, at one point threw it, because that was the tape, I think, yeah, that Aiden put in and watched. So, yeah, there's that, and this one tape that Rachel watched that basically, like, well, Samara's in this, like, mental hospital or whatever and being questioned, and especially, like, these drawings, asking her, like, when she made these, and she says that she doesn't, and, saying that she, I want my mommy, and, daddy doesn't love me, and, he only loves the horses, and, like saying, like, she's sorry about doing bad things, but she won't stop, it will never stop. It's like when you hear her voice, like you could just about hear say Lilo, you get my point. Like you just about hear it. You just about hear a bit of like say Lilo. Yeah, even say like Rachel thinks it was Richard that killed his own daughter, which we find out a little bit later he didn't. And even say Noah, meanwhile, Noah's trying to find files, that has to do, I guess, with, Samara. Richard basically, he kills himself. Like, even when, say, he tells Rachel that, my wife was not supposed to have a child. And he just, like, puts electrocuted, like, stuff, like, electronic stuff, like, at a bathtub. And just, like, all around him, and yeah, just killing himself very gruesomely. And even when Noah, he got on a boat, like, apparently, like, I'm trying to remember, like, yeah, this, he was, like, the last person to watch this certain tape or whatever. And, yeah, he makes his way to the island that Rachel's on. And, that's when, they should be dead by now, because day 7 has arrived, but nope. They are there for a reason. That same location where the ring girl died. And eventually they do find that well. It was kind of like covered in like of wood and so on. And even Rachel falling into the well. And Rachel like having a bit of like visions. Like, well, when she's in the well, like she finds this like hair and like grabs her. Oh, even like say when she had a dream and there were marks on her, like marks of like somebody's hand, and she has vision. She has a vision like of what happened to Samara. Her mother, Anna Morgan, played by Shannon Cochran. I think that's about right, Cochran. The mother basically just put a bag over her head and killed her, suffocating her. And the mother said that all she wanted was her daughter. But why did she kill her? That's one big question. And, yeah, like, she falls into the well, like, well, she does wake up, but, as we all know, she would later just die in the well, drown, basically. And, it's kind of creepy, like, when, Rachel lifts her up out of the water, like, the face kind of, yeah, you get the point. And it seems like everything turned out fine, like neither Rachel or Noah got killed. And another thing is, like, we find out, earlier in the film and after Aiden had watched the tape and she gets a call from Noah, and she tells Noah that their son watched the tape. Noah is the father. So, I don't know, like, did people, like, was that unexpected, or was it obvious that he was the father? Like, was it no big surprise? I don't know. And to anybody who had seen the movie when it came out. And it seems like, yeah, after all that happening, it brought Rachel, it started bringing Rachel and Noah back together. Even it seemed like, yeah, because seemed like Noah was kind of in another relationship now, but, even though technically she was like, a partner in crime or assistant, whatever, Beth, played by Polly Perrette. Everybody would know her best as Abby from NCIS. So this was a year before NCIS debuted, so before it began. And so, like, all ends well, like, almost. Like, Rachel tells Aiden that, they freed the girl, and Aiden is a bit surprised, and basically, they weren't supposed to free her. Not, and yeah, it just makes things worse, basically. And thus, at Noah's place, like, the TV, like, kind of goes static, and then, like, yeah, the ring girl, like, the most infamous part of that, like, the ring girl steps out of the TV and, of course, kills Noah, even when Rachel was trying to call Noah to warn him, and she's just driving just all the way down, just desperately trying to get to him. And of course, when she does, like, she sees that his place had been kind of wrecked and what had happened, and thus she turns the chair around, and oh yeah, because even by her scream, you just, it's horrifying. And we do get a little glimpse of it a little bit later, because like those moments where like there'd be like flash like shots, even like say when we see Katie and Noah, how their bodies look after being killed by the ring girl, it just like, it's scary. Yeah, even say Rachel just loses it and destroys the tape, putting it in the fire, but then she remembered there was the copy she made, and it had still been under the chair, like when she threw it. So, and thus both her and Aiden like play the tape, and yeah, that's basically kind of where it ends off, and, there would be a sequel, of course, like the continuation and what would happen next. I tell you, The Ring, it's really good. And you know what? Because here's another thing, like, this movie is most infamously known for, like, say, using a green filter. I don't know, like, was there a release of this movie where it had, like, a regular, like, filter, like, that wasn't greenish, Probably so. I don't know. But, it's how the movie was, and with using a green filter, it could work, yeah. So I guess, that's the feel and the theme to this movie. So yeah. Yeah. Anyways, and also some of the other cast like members, like there was Jane Alexander. She was Dr. Grosnick. Yeah, that's about right. Grosnick, and Lindsay Frost as Ruth, and a teacher. There was a teacher like that had a bit of talk with Rachel about how Aiden was dealing with his cousin's death, and about the fact that he drew these pictures, 1 week before she died. Played by Sandra Thigpen. I think I said that right. Yeah. So yeah. Boy, I tell you, because The Ring is so good, and it's a perfect film to watch, obviously, during Halloween. And hey, especially since this year is celebrating its anniversary, and to any of you that have or have not seen it. So, anyways, but, and how do I rate The Ring? Good question. Well, since, hey, it's as I've been saying, it's a good film, and I give this a 10 out of 10. Why not? Because I think it's a must-see, and, whether if you get the jump scares, like, they get to you. Because that's the thing, like, one thing that would get me in, like, a scary movie or whatever are the quick jump scares. Just, it would be so quiet, and then, just, like, right into your face, you know what I mean? Alright, but with all that being said, 10 out of 10 for The Ring. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of The Ring. Let me know what you thought of my review. If you have seen this, leave comments and give this review a like as always. I'll see you guys in the next video / review. Of course, continuing on reviewing Halloweenish films. And stay tuned later tonight, where I'll be reviewing one film that has to do with that's about a land full of zombies. You probably know what I'm talking about. So stay tuned for that. Take care, and peace out. 7 days.